Welcome, everyone. This is the In Summary podcast. My name is Dallas, and with me I have. I have Nathan and Jesse with me today, and I love how that started. So we're gonna get going. Um, I
Oh
will
man.
say this to the listener, but also to my co-hosts. I am doing this podcast recording in my office today. That's cool. New location. I don't know how the mic sounds. I don't know how loud I need to speak. And honestly, I'm just gonna scream. I'm gonna talk as loud as I want, and people can deal with it. Today, today we're gonna for a check-in. I want to play a little game.
Oh
I just came
gosh.
up with this when you asked what the check-in was going to be. I came up with it then because my initial check-in was
Oh,
just the general check-ins, like, oh, how are we doing? But that's boring. We're gonna play a game of what is Dallas holding? Okay.
oh gosh.
I'm in my office and I have things in my office, and you know me a little bit, and so
Mhm.
the idea is I'm gonna put something in my hand off screen, and I'll be like, "What am I holding?" And you're gonna try to guess. You have no idea, no context. You're just gonna try to guess. What am I
Okay,
holding? Okay.
I'm here for
I'm
it.
gonna keep score. I do want to real quick. Can we go off of who's closest?
I will try my hardest to think who could be closest from what I'm.
Like if you're holding a baseball bat, and if I say a stick and Jesse says like a bazooka, I feel like I'd be closer.
You would be closer in that scenario. I don't think we're gonna get that close. We'll see. We'll see. Um, I'll do five items. I can pick up five
Oh
items.
my gosh.
I'll do
We're gonna
five
be here all day.
items. If somehow there's a tie,
That's
because
two or three.
I was well, I mean, I was gonna say if somehow we get somewhere and there's like you guys are so far away, I can't figure out, and no one can get a point. We'll figure it out. Okay.
I
But
can figure out a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
okay. I have something in my hand right now. What do you think it is?
Jesse, I'll let you guess first.
Okay. Um, I don't know. Football helmet?
Okay.
What an interesting guess. That would have never crossed my mind. I was gonna say like a potato chip bag clip thingy.
Oh,
Wow, that was so specific.
yeah.
That's because I have one that sits on my whiteboard.
Okay.
I like it. No, I like it. I wasn't thinking about getting too wild to begin with, but I like
Dude,
where we're going. I'm just holding hand sanitizer. That's all I'm holding is some hand sanitizer. So,
I'd say Nathan's
who's
closer.
closer?
would you say Nathan's closer? Because I don't know. So,
I
I
would say Nathan's closer.
I feel like I have to sanitize every time I play football.
Well, you should be doing more than that.
True. I'll take a point. Here's the thing. I I will overturn every stone for 1 point. That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
oh yeah, good. Okay, we're gonna pick up something else now. I have something else in my hand. What is it?
It made a sound.
Oh
I'm
no,
I'm
sorry,
going
that's my
paperclip.
chair.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
it's
paperclip. I'm sticking by it.
What'd you say?
paperclip. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, honestly, if I was the one facilitating this, I think you guys would be baffled right now. Now that I look at my office. Um, so I'm gonna go with stress ball.
Mm.
Okay, I will say, there are actually three stress balls right next to me, and I was going to use one in one of these rounds, but now since you've guessed it in the wrong round, I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
I am holding a deck of cards.
Oh.
I like to play solitaire sometimes when I have downtime.
I feel like a paperclip could clip cards together more than a stress ball would have anything to do with that.
Cool, let's even
Yeah,
it.
but he
Yes, get the
puts
point. Love that.
great. Okay. All right.
Okay, okay.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
closest getting the point actually is not helping right now. It's making this game way harder.
I grabbed something different. What do I have in my hand?
Spare pair of glasses.
A spare pair of glasses. Okay.
Hmm.
This is good. Kaleidoscope.
I have
I
a I have a yarn pickle that one of my RAs made for me. Um, I
I,
I don't know. I don't know who's closer.
I don't either.
I'm okay with going just a A flat zero on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. I think we should keep going. Okay. What am I holding in my hand?
I'm so afraid. Nathan, you
Painting.
go.
He looked like he reached out the wall, so I'm gonna say painting.
A painting. Okay.
I'm gonna say diploma.
Oh,
That's actually that brings up a great little tidbit of a discussion point. I hate putting out my diploma in my office, so I've never done that. So not to like say that's wrong, but I'm holding a frisbee. It has my fraternity's letters on it. Um, so that's pretty cool.
Is
Uh,
it painted?
the like the actual like coloring is the letters are the sticker. I just put a sticker over it. But
is it painted or is that how the frisbee is?
no, this is painted. This was from one of my undergrad events. Oh, because it's painting. Yeah, that's nice. But no,
Mhm.
this is painted. If you've ever done like spin frisbee art, where it's like you put a frisbee
Yeah.
on,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I did. So,
So Nathan gets that one.
Yeah, I actually think that's the closest anything's been so far.
um, ooh, I'll grab this. All
And
right.
honestly, I only said painting because of the picture that's behind you, Jesse.
That's where I am, not him.
I know.
That's what. That's weird. All right. I grabbed something new. What did I grab?
It was off the shelf in the back. A book.
Stapler.
The gavel for hall gov meetings.
And you throw the book at people with a gavel.
No, well, okay.
Yeah, and that's a tied up. Okay,
That's
I
tied.
gotta find something
Okay.
crazy for this tiebreaker. Um,
Well,
okay.
Dallas, I actually had an idea for the tiebreaker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Me and Jesse can hold something off screen, and whoever you're closest to,
Mm,
I
mm-mm.
like it.
we try to get the
Okay.
thing that's least likely that you will guess. The person who you get furthest from wins. I
Great.
have
I have to move for this. I'll be back.
I don't know what my camera looks like. Did you see
I
that?
saw that.
I did see that. You should do something different.
I was gonna say succulent. Right now,
I have a succulent pot with my cat painted on it.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I currently have 32 succulents sitting in my office for a program.
Y'all like Caribou? I got a gift card.
Oh my word.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's
Never mind.
yeah, let's keep
I
going.
know what. No, I'm finding something.
Yeah, I feel like I need to find something harder, honestly.
And during this time, this is when I will talk to the audience. Hello, everyone. My name is Dallas Lansanese, and right now this is an intermission time. Um, one time I walked out of my undergrad room in a residence hall. I can see what you're doing right now. You're picking up your guitar. One time I walked out of my hall my room in my residence hall in undergrad. Um, and I didn't know there was a tour, and I didn't know that my floor likes when there's tours on our floors to just walk around naked. And so there was like people walking around naked on my floor because there was a tour. Ha ha, tee hee, funny, ha ha. And so I walked back inside my room. I said, I'm not a part of this.
Um,
I found my thing.
Okay.
I
yeah, me
wanted you to
too.
see it.
Okay. I don't know how crazy we're getting. I'm gonna go with a Christmas ornament.
Just
Um,
both.
What? Yeah.
That's
Oh,
just.
like,
That's just both. This is
yeah.
both of
I
us.
don't know. I thought I was doing one, and then whoever I was.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that does make sense.
A
Okay.
Christmas ornament.
Okay. Um, Nathan, what are you holding?
RHA's Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Hey, I'm holding a giant letter B. It's meant to hang on the wall, so it's almost an ornament.
I guess. I mean, you get a Switch for Christmas too. I think both of those are wild.
Oh, that was great. I think it's not what it sounds like is like the classic higher ed story is we're all winners here.
We're all
So
winners.
congratulations. We've participated and we've We've
We
traversed through
participated.
Overcome
this
and conquer.
activity. Yeah, exactly. This has been great. Thank you for partaking. Um, so today on the In Summary podcast for UMR, we're going to be talking about opening, like welcome week, the beginning of the academic year, all that good stuff. Maybe we could throw in training in there. I don't know. When this gets posted, we'll be around that time. So we thought, why not talk about those topics? I have some general like ideas and where we could go with this, but I kind of want to throw it to y'all of like where do we want to go with this first? Because there's so many things we could talk about.
I think I want to start with just the like prep, honestly. Like opening prep, training prep, just the things you're supposed to do before we get there. Because actually right now we're in the middle of training and then we have a move in tomorrow for all of our apartments. So we're actually kind of in
Oh, shoot.
the real swing of things already. Um,
Yeah.
and the biggest thing we've seen, I mean, from the professional level, not from the student level, just the behind the scenes works. The biggest thing we're seeing is that people aren't prepared and they need to be. Like, you need to look ahead, you need to see what you did in years past, and you need to make sure you remember what you're doing and take good notes. Because right now, what we're seeing is like, we have apartment move in tomorrow. And if no one who is at my university is watching this, then I'll say we finished our CRs last night. That should have been done 3 weeks ago. But no one did the proper like looking to see if those things were done. And now last second we have to scramble for things. And I had to kind of pull staff aside. You still there? Okay.
Mhm.
My computer just closed all windows for no reason. Anyway, but we found that like it could have all been mitigated if people just looked at their things ahead of time. And now we had to have some conversations about like, hey, why are we not prepared? What were you doing all summer when you had like nothing to do but prepare for training and moving? So
Mhm.
those are just things that like they're easy to do, but it's also really easy to just put to the wayside. It's like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I don't have to prepare. It's fine. But yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to start because that's just the big thing that we're dealing with right now, actually.
And that's good. I feel like so many people have asked me this summer, like, what do you actually do in this summer? And I do think that for a lot of people in higher ed, the answer is not much.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope we start training on Monday, and I think I'm prepared.
That's
I
We'll
think
pretty
is
see.
good. That's pretty good. I you bring up Nathan, you bring up something that I feel like is so just interesting to hear that it happens in the entirety of higher ed. It feels like now that as I feel it here and I feel it for you, so I'm going to say it happens everywhere because it happens in two places. So I don't understand why in higher ed everything has to be made into an emergency. I feel like there's so many things that you can prep and plan prior. And I get like things pop up, especially because we're working with people, and obviously people you can never truly plan for. But like the processes and procedures and whatever it is, you can prep for. Regardless of you could prep tomorrow for next move in, and then the next
Hmm.
day for the next year of move in, and you could be prepped for years if you
Oh
just
yeah.
did the work prior. And people do, and we get there and it all works out, and students don't know anything otherwise because, especially when freshmen are moving in first time, regardless if things internally are going wrong, externally this is the first time they've experienced it, so this is like, oh, this is just how it goes. Like they have no
Yep.
idea otherwise, so it doesn't matter. So any
Yep.
emergency is never an emergency in their eyes, at least from opening, which is such an interesting thought too. But I don't know. I feel like um so many things could be prepped in advance, and you because you know what's happening. You'll always know when moving. You know opening's happening once you know the actual date, which you know probably next year's already probably there's already probably that plan. So you could prep in advance, but we love to be procrastinators in this field that we work in, and I am a victim of that sometimes as well, but that is neither here nor there. Speaking of
Oh,
planning,
real
all right,
quick.
come on, Nathan, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick to one of your points of saying that like everything has to be an emergency. Uh, Also, I don't think people understand that when everything's an emergency and we put everything in a bubble of we need to take care of this right now, this needs to be done
Mhm.
immediately. If we treat everything like that, actual emergencies, people think it would be diminishing for those, but no, it's elevating. It makes those emergencies so much harder to handle when you're already so stressed about things that could have easily not been emergencies. So now there's emergencies, which are not emergencies, and then you have emergencies, which are,
You're
and because you're
like,
already dealing with emergencies, then you're burnt out and it's impossible to keep doing your job at that point. And it's just really
mhm.
easy to avoid that. And it just takes a little bit of foresight and honestly just good note taking the first time. So then when you get back to that point, you can just review and be like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot that this one door doesn't work every single opening. I should probably email about that
Yeah.
now instead of day of when all of our people are moving in and no one can get through that door.
This
Yeah,
is this is good. I feel like I'm being trained right now.
perfect. I'm glad that I can help in some way. I am.
Hey, yo.
Speaking of like prep though, I wanted to ask one of the questions I was curious, like, how far in advance do I don't want to, it almost recognizes me as raising my hand. Um, how far in advance do you guys, as maybe people or maybe your department or whatever, kind of, so like you have moved, so my move, for example, my move-in day is Saturday, August 24th. That is official move-in for NDSU. Um, the question I'm proposing is how far in advance from that move-in day have y'all, as a department, as a person, whatever, thought and started actually like trying to process through what's that going to look like?
I'm looking at my calendar real quick if you want to answer,
Hell
Jessica.
yeah, if logistically I could tell you, but because I can start as y'all kind of think about that. I know if we're trying to get like very, very like minimal thought. I'm as one move-in is happening, I'm already thinking how can I improve it for next year, and I'm making notes. So that's not
Totally.
officially when I'm like thinking of things, but like I'm always trying to tweak processes and for especially to make it easier on my student staff side, because I'm not the one doing their job during move-in. I set up everything so they
Right.
can do their job. And then obviously as they're doing their job, things pop up. I'm like, okay, I could have set up differently to make it easier on them kind of thing. So I'm thinking about next move-in during one move-in. But like officially, I feel like we start as a department speaking or thinking of move-in when we start thinking about orientation in the summer here. And we
Mhm.
start talking about orientation here like middle of April for summer orientation. So I would say like that's probably like officially when we actually start thinking here at NDSU, like, hey, you know how we haven't closed yet? We are going to open again. So like let's get on that.
Yeah, I would say just personally same. And my supervisor is just kind of wired to think about, okay, how do we make this better? Like it's just constant. So he's always asking, he'll ask, our move-in day is our first move-in day because we do NSO at the beginning of the year. And so our first years will move in on the 21st and everybody else will come 24th and 25th. But yeah, he'll ask like probably on the 22nd, okay, what went well? What can we improve for next year? So I'm, you know, thinking about it all the time. I think we like officially started meetings and stuff about it. Because our department is so small, that we have to coordinate with several other offices on campus to pull off moving. So I think we started meeting about it in January. Um, Partly because we were making some changes to move in the beginning of the year, and so we wanted to get those solidified and all our brainstorming done before everything really got rolling. But yeah, I would say there's a few processes that I'm always thinking about. It's like training, hiring, and moving. Opening and closing. So yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's constant.
We start 27 and a half years in advance. I'm just kidding. We just have it all planned out. We have
Seems
old
reasonable.
that just we open, brush it off, and it says, "This is an election." It's like, I predicted it once again.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Because I was looking up to see kind of when we started. I know for official what exactly we're doing for move-in. We start meeting at the beginning of July. That's when we're like meeting, solidifying plans, solidifying RCRs, making sure that everything's ready to go on those. When it comes to like the first meeting that we had for the school year about anything to do with opening, it was April 17th. And that was when we first started to talk about orientation and basically what that looked like. And I think that's kind of the first point when we're like, oh, yep, we need to start talking about moving again. Weirdly enough, that's also when our board of regents was visiting. So I have a feeling that that meeting got pushed. But nonetheless, yeah, that would be the exact day for us. We do also debrief the first meeting that we have after, asking what went well, what needs to change, things like that. And we make notes for the next year. Typically, that meeting is if we have something new, we see if we're going to keep it or leave it.
Sure, sure.
I think one example was I think there was one year where we just did our like actual check-in system differently and it just didn't work. So we moved back to our original one.
Mm-hmm.
I find it so interesting how like universities, campuses, areas, or whatever can be so different. But like we're all doing the same shit. Like and
Oh
like
yeah.
in the same ways, maybe just in a little bit of like maybe instead of sprinkles, y'all put like chocolate chips on your, cake or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But like you know what I mean. Like I don't know. But in the same realm, speaking like logistically or thinking logistically of like move in and how it's looking when people are actually physically moving into the residence halls. It's kind of in the same vein of like we're doing things similar across different campuses. Do y'all at y'all's places, are people doing the exact same move-in process in each residence hall, or is there more like autonomy for like hall directors to be like, well, this is the process for my building?
Well, it's not, I don't know if it's that simple, unfortunately, because we just have different spaces. For example, like apartment move-ins
Hmm.
are separate from our full move-in because the apartments don't have a desk. I mean, we have a desk designated for them, but in general, it's outside. So for apartments, we have them move like half a week early. Their move-ins outside. They'll sign their RCR and everything out there. And then I think a long time ago we used to have people there to help them move in, and then I think that ended up in workman's comp, so we stopped. I don't really know why, but that's probably why. Or it was COVID, one or the other. It's probably both. But
That's
we
true.
have those move-ins, and then the rest of our move-ins are a little more similar. But our LLCs move in a day early because they have orientation stuff. Then our full
Yeah.
move-in for the suites and traditional rooms, and then the early college program are all on the same day. So the move-in processes do have autonomy, but overall, that autonomy somehow leads to it being pretty similar anyway.
We we're doing okay, so we're way smaller. Way smaller than either of your institutions.
Fair.
So I have eight, yeah, eight res halls this year. The biggest one holds 200 students. Um, so we just have a centralized check-in. Like they're going to one place, everybody's going through the line, and doing pretty much the same thing on first year move-in day. And then it's decentralized, it's all in the halls for upperclassmen, but essentially it all looks the same because again, our department is so small. We have a lot of buildings, but we don't have a lot of students to check in. So kind of it just Like we give the same instructions to every RA, they turn the wheel, and that's how it goes.
How big is your institution for on-campus population?
We have a little under 1,000 students, and 98% of them, I think, live on campus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, you bringing up like a centralized check-in makes me remember like that's what I did in grad school, and I completely forgot about that. Like everyone in when I was in grad school would go through oh my God, I'm forgetting everything of my past. They would go to a centralized location and then they'd get their keys there. We'd prep key packets and
Yeah.
stuff with hall directors prior to move in and turn them in. And then they would go to the centralized location on campus. Can't remember where, can't remember the name. So sorry. People who know where I went to grad school at oopsies. And but they would go there and then they would get their key packet and then they would just come to the building to check in or to like to move in. They've already checked in at like the centralized location. They just start moving in. And like it was on the hall staff at the building itself just to be like, hey, welcome, you need some water, welcome to the building kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like thanks for being here and all that. um because here at NDSU where I work now, like we have the same goal. Obviously we want students to move in. And so like we have ideas and like there is like historical context of how buildings have worked and ran and how movement has looked.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, we give our hall directors not full autonomy, but a lot of autonomy of like how is it logistically going to work when a student walks into your building to check in. And so like we've have hall directors who um they move all their keys into key packets and they move them out of the hall office and they move them onto a table and then they give packets to their residents as they move in and they have like alphabetized or by room number whatever. We have people who will just have signs up or people will who put tape on the grounds and put arrows and stuff like that. People will choose whether or not how many people are working at the desk for RAs or people are walking through the community to like help and welcome and just be that friendly face. I personally work in a community that's all upperclassmen, and so they don't have to move in on official move-in day. They can, they don't have to.
Hmm.
Most don't, but we still have to be available and welcoming here for that move-in day, for that day after moving day, and the day after the day after. And so here, like I don't personally like make key packets or pull my keys out of my office because of how slower it is. I'm just like, I put two signs up at the desk window because I have an east and a west building. I put two signs up,
Oh, yeah.
east, west, and then you can go to that, which is funny because it's not like the keys are set up behind them any different. So my RAs are just bumping into each other sometimes, like, oh, let me grab that key, let me slide by
Oh,
and grab
gosh.
the ranch kind of thing. And so I thought about maybe put like for my building specifically to pull out things and have tables set up in the lobby, but it's just
Hmm.
have people moving in frequently enough for that to make sense. And I
Right.
want to do all the work prior, and then my RAs are like, why do we prep this? And now no one's coming. And I'm like,
Right.
beats me. But yeah, that's kind of how things happen here.
I feel like the problem that I always have during early arrival move in that area is just that there are always, regardless of who is working, I think it's always, however many people there are, there's that many conflicting ideas of what needs to happen.
Oh my
And
gosh, it's so true.
yeah, and sometimes it works out fine because people have different strengths and whatnot. And sometimes it's
Sure.
just exact opposites.
Mhm.
We also right now have tomorrow, the people who live in the county are all allowed to put their stuff in their rooms early, but they don't get a check in early. They still check in, they still sign their
Oh,
RCR. They just drop off all their stuff, they go back home, and they come back in 4 days.
okay.
Cool.
And I get why. I get it. I get that it makes it so it's less congested during move-in, and I get that we do it because it's more student friendly and gives them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, But man, it's just another thing, right?
Totally.
All for
It's
being
like,
student focused, but geez Louise, it puts fucking stress on me sometimes.
yeah, and then we didn't do it last year too, so then it blindsided some people, even though we talked about it in July, so we knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And then like this morning, first thing in the morning, someone came and was like, wait, why are people moving stuff in? It's like, because we talked about it a month and a half ago.
Oh
That's
gosh.
why. They're
Gee.
like, okay, well, in the middle of apartment moving, I'm like, I mean, I didn't put that together, but it's
But
not my
yes,
building.
it's
Yeah.
happening.
But yeah, it always looks interesting enough, no matter who's on the outside looking at the processes, they always look like they're ready to go. Because I've gone to other colleges for their move-ins, not because I'm scoping the competition, but just because I've been there at times for move-in for whatever reason.
Right,
I've had
right.
friends move in. I've had my brother move in. That doesn't count because he went here too. But I've seen other college move-ins, and it always looks like it's all put together. And then every time I talk to someone, they're like, "Oh, that was just such a nightmare." It's like, but you guys did it good. That's a good nightmare, I
It was a
guess.
good nightmare.
So,
I love good nightmares.
and I'm starting to think that it's just no matter where you're going, this is just the time. It's just the time that this happens. It's the time that everyone's
Hmm.
stressed. And I don't think there's really a
Right.
great way around it. Even if we're fully prepared and fully organized for it, I think it's still just going to be a stressful time.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just messy. There's so many people, there's so many moving parts. There's always I was telling somebody yesterday, um, I'm not married, I've never planned a wedding, but I have watched a lot of people plan weddings, and there's a point like within the 2 weeks leading up to it that everybody goes, whatever happens, happens. Like something's gonna go wrong and we're just gonna roll with it. And that's I feel like that's how opening usually is.
I'm just going
Like
to say, for those
what?
listeners out there, for everyone who is in this call right now, best way to get married and not have stress, go to Vegas, baby. $5,000, get married, get a gamble a little bit. It's a great time, actually. Also, the angriest I have ever been in my life was the day before my wedding because one of my friends, this is slightly off topic. It's fine. Dallas is writing something. One of my friends, after we went and got dinner, after I already ate, so I just had to sit there and watch my friends get dinner, was like, "Oh, we should go to the Neon Sign Museum." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Why?" And he's like, "Cause it's just a history of neon signs." I was like, "Sweet, okay."
Go to
Um,
Vegas. Less stress. Oh, go to Vegas to get married. Less stress, gambling.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Got it.
And it was a beautiful wedding, also. Great time. I'll show pictures later. Um, but yeah, so he wanted to go to the Neon Sign Museum. We're like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, it's within walking distance. And we were at Fremont Street, which is the busiest place at night. And it's like, cool, whatever. It was a 2 mile walk through the like darkest place I've ever been in my life. If anyone like assaulted me or mugged me there, I would not have been able to tell you what they looked like because I couldn't see anything. There was no lighting. I was like, why are we walking 2 miles to a neon sign museum? And I guess it's in the darkest place in Vegas because the neon signs look cooler.
I suppose.
Yeah,
Wow.
but bold move to take all of your friends through dangerous parts of big cities.
Yeah, that is a bold move.
I have a
I know
lot of
people who
Vegas
would do
stories.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm not here for that.
Vegas was okay. I'm sorry. I went to Vegas once. That was cool. I got scammed. That was cool. But that's just
Like you do.
Vegas for you, baby.
Yep.
Someone put a necklace on my neck and said, "You pay," and I'm like, "I didn't put it here." And they're like, "Well, you're wearing it," and I was like, "Well, now I gotta pay." So
How much do you pay for it?
$20.
Do you still have
Oh,
it?
No, the necklace was like a choker on my neck because of how thick my neck is, and so I had to rip it off just to get it off my neck.
How'd they get it on?
so frustrating.
I was like walking, looking at the fountains on the strip, and then here comes some lady and swooped in, bam, and I'm like, God, no, I was like, I thought it was like my life flashed before my eyes. But no, not talking about Vegas anymore. Let's move on. Sorry.
Well,
Uh,
Vegas University.
Oh no.
It's funny when I was in Vegas because and I was developing my gambling problem. I was like, man,
Mhm.
wouldn't it be cool to work here so I could like on the weekends just go gamble?
I'm gonna spit my drink.
Because I don't
How's
have
your gambling
any.
problem going?
Wait, what?
How's your gambling problem going?
Well, I don't have a gambling problem unless I'm gambling, and then I have a problem. Uh,
I think that's humanity in general.
because when I'm not gambling, I'm not like, oh, I gotta gamble. Oh, I'm not thinking that. But when I'm there, I'm like, dude, I'll drop 400 on black right now, and we'll see if it works. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it
Wow.
doesn't. And so,
When we get time, I need to talk to you about a hobby called Magic the Gathering.
fair, yes. Maybe you can entice me at the conference.
Oh,
Yo,
Friendly
I'll bring
heavens.
reminder
bets.
for everyone listening, if you haven't already signed up to go to the UMR conference, you should do that. I'm pretty sure sign up already started. I got an email. I haven't opened that email. My supervisor is the president of UMR. He'll tell me when I need to sign up.
Dallas is just in.
I'm there,
Dallas doesn't have to
baby.
sign up.
If you don't even want educational sessions, but you want to meet one of the stars of this podcast, I will be at uh
Be
I'll be at
there.
the conference. It's the week of Halloween. I don't remember the
Yes.
Yes.
dates.
It is
It's the
October
30th.
30th through November 1st.
It's gonna be great. The
Yes.
theme is I'm gonna butcher it. Light the way.
Probably.
Light the path.
Light. Where's the theme? I don't see it in this email. I'm gonna say it's light the path, light the
I
way.
think it's light the
But,
path.
but the word wasn't light though, I thought. It was a different word for light.
Illuminate.
Illuminate. Illuminate the path.
Maybe
That's what it is.
We're
Yep.
here.
it was. It was that. Um But yeah, just want to plug that. But we're gonna move back into what we were talking about, which was some stuff. So I have some other questions. Um, and one of them being, so obviously like residence life, very involved with moving. Duh. They get a little bit less involved, maybe when it comes to like welcome week and stuff. But I was just curious of like after move-in, the official move-in day. Obviously, there's other move-ins for other things, but people officially moved in. You have the majority of, if not everyone, moved in on campus now. How involved is like residence life with the days that come after? So whether it's welcome week or like I'm thinking like even like in a few weeks, maybe like homecoming or whatever it may be. How involved is residence life after they've moved everyone into their buildings?
Not. Thank goodness. Um, we there's another office that like their job is NSO. So as soon as they're moved in, NSO and all of their people take over. Um, RAs will like walk first years to things, or they'll facilitate like hangout spaces. But other than that, like we're not doing anything actively. Obviously, because I work at a small institution, we are offering to help with whatever needs to be done. But there's once move-in is done, we're kind of off the hook.
For us, I'm actually part of the Welcome Weekend Committee. So I do a lot of the planning and helping with the planning, but overall, it's mostly other offices that are facilitating different orientation events for new students. The biggest thing, though, is I was showing my succulent tray here because I'm also the one who's in charge of whatever Residential Life's Welcome Weekend activity is. In the past, we did mystery buses. Did I talk about mystery buses last time? Maybe no. So what we did
No.
originally was, I talked about, never mind. I remember I talked about it. Anyway, we put students in buses and we have them go to a random place in the community. We coordinate with the community
No,
members.
pause. That sounds so sketch, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
yeah. And then we call it mystery bus. We give
It's like,
almost no
yes, it is.
information. Huh?
Is that the point? That it's just
Yeah.
sketch?
No.
Okay.
But so in years past, what I did was I sent emails say, hey, these are the mystery buses. You can sign up for one, two, or three. This one may have an active portion of it. This one might be crafty. This one might have to do with golf. I don't know. And then people can sign up based on that little bit of vague information. And in the past, actually, I have a cabinet that's full of the spare mystery bus stuff from years past. But we had them go to a craft place where they would have this little wooden block and they'd paint like the Fort Hayes tiger on it, or they'd put like nails and do string art. We go
Okay.
to the mini golf place and they just play a couple rounds of mini golf. We would have them go to bowling. That one was probably our most popular one. And then we were working on axe throwing for a while. But then this year, what is that? Is that an axe handle only?
Yeah.
Very cool. But this year we decided to do a block party, mostly just because our mystery buses, the biggest failing of them was that we couldn't get more than 3 buses, so we could never have more than 105 students attend them. And we have about like over 500 freshmen. So
Yeah.
if we're only like really engaging 20% of the community, then we just wanted to upscale it a bit more. So now I'm giving out succulents. We're doing s'mores. We're doing grocery/laundry bingo. And yeah, so that's our involvement portion of it, which is really my involvement portion of it. And I just have our staff help out and facilitate the different areas that we do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I would say here, yeah, once like actual move-in day happens and like the RAs are facilitating their like connection meetings that first day or that first
Right.
weekend, we have all of the halls do a hall social or hall event that first Monday right before so classes start for us here. So we move in that Saturday and classes will start Monday at 4 p.m. on that first Monday just to hit because of like other like holidays that take away Mondays. So in case there's like night
Mhm.
classes and stuff, we have that Monday, but the majority of class will start Tuesday. And so that night, right before the majority of classes start, we'll do like a hall event where we're pushing, connection in the community, but also like you want to join Hall Gov, so we do that. Kind of shove that down their throats. I don't shove it down my community because at that point they're not freshmen anymore and they're not blinded by all of the city lights and they're like, well, they know what's going on
Mhm.
now, kind of thing. So I just kind of casually talk like, hey, you want to spend other people's money? Because that's what Hall Gov is, baby. And you get to hang out with this guy and this guy, roller coaster. But no, so we do like a little hall social. Having a good time. Um,
You could have said anything appealing. You could have said this guy,
Nope.
fun time. This guy, yeah, blast. This guy, roller coaster. You don't know what to expect, buddy.
just like put your hands up because we're going down. But no, so there's that hall social. That Res Life is everyone does all of Res Life, like hall directors and student staff and all that do. Um, we have an individual on our directors team in Res Life that part of their position, I mean, they advise like student leadership, so they're over like RHA and NRHH and all that, but they're also like our liaison to other like student activities and oh my God, new student programs and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So they're
Yeah.
like the liaison that works. So I would say like technically, if you want to count, we have like Res Life, our hands are in like a lot of things all the time here at NDSU because we have that liaison that then is doing other stuff for us. Like that position has a very big hand in like homecoming. That position has a very big hand on our first 2 weeks of welcome.
Sure.
Um, that position does a lot of stuff. Like me as a person, I only help out with a few things after move in, and so hall director is kind of their duties go to normal hall director duties once that first like Monday and Tuesday hit. The big thing after that that we help with is we do a block party, usually the Thursday of the first week. And if you're on the committee that assists with that, you're helping the entire like day getting prepped and working it. If you're not on that committee here, then you just have to do like a shift. You just have to volunteer for a shift. And this year I'm not on the committee, which is sad. I love that committee, but which is cool because now I get to be in the dunk tank. Because all these other years I
Mm.
want to be in the dunk tank, but I can't because I have to work the event. I can't get wet. Now I can be in the damn dunk tank, baby. And I'm gonna heckle the shit out of people. Like, you can't throw, you can't get me in there, you suck. Can't wait. And then those people who know me, they're gonna love it when they dunk me, and I'm like, well, fuck, I can't swim. So
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's only like, it's not that deep. I could probably stand and it'd be fine. But I'm very excited to be in this dunk tank. I'm hoping it's hotter out because I don't want to get wet and it be cold.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Nathan, what did you just write?
Something that I want to take out of context later.
I'm glad. But that's kind of how we are after moving day and our involvement and all that here. A fun thing that I wanted to talk about before my other fun thing, that I actually have. Um, from what date do you start where it feels like, whether it's in the summer or whatever, when it feels like you can't breathe? And then when is it when you're like, well, wow, I'm done with all of the stuff that they've been asking me to do? It's like, when is it you get to stop breathing, and when do you get to start breathing again with how much you feel like you're doing in your position for all the things that are happening around this time?
This is a good question. I think I took my last breath yesterday.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
and I'll get to start breathing again. Probably August 22nd. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, okay. Nathan,
Um, for me,
calendar. Yeah.
yeah, my last breath was June 1st.
Hmm.
That was an in breath. My out
Shoot.
breath will be, I think it will be August 19th, the first day of classes. I think once classes start, for me, it feels like it is no longer all just me working on the stuff that I was working on.
Yeah.
But over the summer, working with camps is actually probably the most stressful part for me for my job, just
For
because of how
sure.
much coordination it takes. And it is really just me and whoever's also the chair of that committee, just working with each other, but I'm advising it. So basically, I'm the one operating it all. And if anything goes wrong with camps, it's still going to come back eventually to my table and I need to fix it. So
Yeah.
that usually gives me a lot
Mm.
of stress. And then this summer, us losing our administrative assistant meant that I also had to learn how to do our invoicing, and I had to make sure I was keeping track of when that was getting paid. And then those invoices didn't get paid in a way that I was informed. So then I had to do a lot of backtracking and stuff. And then I was also operating our early arrivals too. So, and those are both what typically our administrative assistant will do. So this summer especially, it's been a lot of pressure. But our early arrivals will be done in a week or less. Actually, it'll be less than a week. I think it's like 5 days. um we are one invoice away from having all of our camps paid for, and then after both of those are done, the last thing I need to do is this program. And then once that program is done, I have done the things. My summer has a little stamp on it. I'll add it to my transition report. It's good. We're there. So yeah, that's for me.
You're like a freaking Navy SEAL. You hold your breath for so long.
Hoorah. That's a Marines thing. Please, if someone's listening, don't say Nathan's an idiot. Like, no, I understand.
That's funny. In a typical year for me, uh, I if because like so I was talking to Jesse before the podcast started of how I have this current week that we're in right now has been like a week that I've been able to just like be in my office and work and prep things. Because we are in a calendar reset year. So everything is a week later this year at NDSU's campus, just because I guess like
Oh.
something happened. Maybe it was a leap year that messed up things. I'm not sure. Regardless, we're in a calendar reset year, so everything's been pushed back a week. And so typically, like the last few years that I've been here, I would say that I feel like I stop breathing when my summer opening starts, which is typically middle of May, right after spring closing. And so I guess you could even push it back farther because I'm trying to prep for spring closing. So I feel like that's when I'm like, okay, things are happening. And in the summer, with what I do with my building and all that, 'cause my building is the summer housing building, it's open 24/7, 365. And so like in the school year, other people in the department do the things that assist with all of the things like billing, room assignments, all that stuff, all the ins and outs of things. There's other people helping me with that. In the summer, that kind of just comes here. And I just take in everything. There's less people in my building throughout the summer. I have maybe, I would say a max of, so my building at capacity can hold 332 people. I would say at capacity in the summer, I'm at like 180 that I'm dealing with probably in the summer. And so like less people and it's more manageable for me to just kind of do the things. And I've been able to do it because I'm fantastic. But it's it is a lot all the time that I'm always dealing with. Um, I don't get like in the summer, other hall directors get their night hour commitments kind of go away. In the summer, I still have a staff, I still have meetings, I still have events, I still do things. So I don't really have that summer feel of a break of now I just have my nights to do whatever I want. Yeah, sometimes. And so if it was a typical year, I would say way back in May, and I don't get to breathe until like the second week of classes, whenever that would be. So like September, for early September is like a big, I've just got a lot of stuff going on, whether it's my summer or HD training or staff training or whatever it may be, just kind of going. Um, this year with this week, it's felt really nice this week. So like I've just been chilling because summer closing happened last week. That ended. And next week is student staff training for us. So like this year, once the 13th hits, and that's training, until I would say, excuse me, I would say until this year, homecoming for us is the fourth week of school. That's weird. And so hate that. So it's the week of September 16th. I remember that it's homecoming because I'm on call that week. And so
Oh gosh.
once homecoming is over, once like the 23rd of September hits, like that's when I'll be like, wow, we made it. But I've just been telling my friends who are outside of higher ed that are like, Dallas, when are you available? I'm like, oh, October. Just hit me up in October.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
see you then. But then I'll be at UMR, and I'm also going to someone's wedding in October, so I'm not available. Hit me up in November, but that's my birthday. So honestly, hit me up next year. Like,
I'm
Yeah.
going. I'm actually going to a wedding in October too. When's your wedding?
well, I'm not getting, and I'm just joking. The wedding that I'm going to, is October 12th.
Yeah, probably not the same wedding.
Oh, that makes
I'll
sense.
see you there. Mine's the 16th.
Where is yours located?
Michigan.
Yeah, mine's in Indiana, so probably also not the same.
No, but 2 weeks later, my wife's going to Indianapolis.
She should say hi to my mom. My mom lives in Indianapolis.
I'll just try to go with her, even though it's in the middle of UMR, and that's why she's not going to UMR this time around. Because there's a. Oh, I probably should. I probably shouldn't put her on blast like that. She's going to a Taylor Swift concert though. Yeah, no, I'm happy
Wow,
for
you
her.
really just exposed her.
I did.
What's your guys' favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh gosh.
Mine's Paper Rings.
I'm a
Tracks.
I'm a basic blank space kind of guy, but that's because I like playing it live.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
fun.
You're so cool. Dang. I think New Year's Eve, because that's the song
Ooh.
that students pick to describe me.
Okay.
Hey, um, what was your favorite? Did you both listen to the new album?
No.
No, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm not a Swiftie. I'm neutral. I'm not one way or another. But
Same.
I will say new album. There were some bops on there. So Long London has this nice little feeling of like, ooh, everyone has this little bit of weird sadness that they can't describe. And
That's my
it's
life,
so
though. I feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Like the people ask Dallas, why are you sad? Existing. But no, I have
Listen to So Long London, you'll figure it out.
exactly. So I have one little last thing that I wanted to do, and then we can wrap things up. Because at 10:15, I gotta check some people in, baby. So I just wanted to kind of open this last part up, for if you guys have had any fun, like move-in experiences or stories that you wanted to share.
Gosh, well, I don't know if this is fun. Um, this is okay. So I'm basically the hall director. I've been doing this for 2 years. Like I have not a lot of move-in experiences. But last year, we found out 2 days before move-in that it was going to be like 115 degrees, which
Hell
now
yeah.
is really hot. And so there was a heat advisory. So they decided that they were going to split move-in day up between 2 days. So we found this out on Monday. Move-in's supposed to be on Wednesday. They were like, okay, we'll do some on Wednesday, we'll do some on Friday. And we're gonna start instead of starting at 8 a.m., we'll start at 6 a.m. So all your RAs have to be ready by 5:45. So that we can get done before like the hottest part of the day.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I had to go and say to my staff, okay, guys, you had to be ready to talk to people by 5:45 on Wednesday. Um, whatever you got to do to make that happen. I don't care. Just make it happen.
That's rough.
Yeah, they were pretty upset about it. They were troopers though.
For the sake of time, I'll make my story brief. The most interesting move-in story I don't have that many interesting ones. I've done a lot of move-ins as a CA or RA, whoever, wherever you are, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
But probably the most interesting move-in story I have is my going into my third year of being RA. I worked as a summer RA, and that's actually when I met my wife because I helped her move in. I was the person who was assigned basically to help her because she was a grad student coming in. So I helped her and her dad with moving all of her stuff. I got to chit chatting with them a lot, and that's how I connected with them originally. And yeah, so I was literally the first person that my wife met when she came to Fort Hays. So
Aww.
And that's how you reel them in, baby.
yeah. If you can be there on moving day, you can find a wife. Don't I didn't say that. That's big
It's not true,
HR.
everyone.
No. HR. That doesn't happen. Don't do that. There. You should be doing your job.
But yeah,
Dallas, do you have a fun story?
yeah. See, I always hear other people having like their fun stories is like, look at this is how angry this parent got at me, or this is how bad this student interaction was. And like it's weird for me to say this, but like so I've never had really a bad experience during move-in. I've just been blessed with it just goes well where I'm at. Um
Wow, you are blessed.
And like, but so I always say like, oh, I want to yell at someone. I want one of my RAs to come to me like, this, I can't handle this. And I'm like, let me put this fucking name tag on and let me show him who Dr. Dallas is, bro.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but I can't, I've never been able to do that. So there were, well, I guess just a fun little, uh, experience that I've had during, move-in is I don't remember what year, it was, but there was a time like there was someone who just kept reaching out via email, calling, question. It's like they didn't know how to like formulate all their questions in one, so they just every time they had one question, they would reach out. And I was just like, when that happens on my side, I'm like, dude, this is so annoying, and I won't ever say that until this podcast. But like
It's good.
but like it's annoying. It's like just figure it out. Don't stop reaching out. Like just figure it out. It's like it's after the 17th email, you don't want to be emailing this person anymore. But then like they move in and like they just come and like they find me and they're like saying how grateful they are that like how helpful I was and all that. And I'm like, that's
And
always
then it's all worth it.
exactly. It's like, well, it's like, oh, and you're such a nice person in person. Why couldn't you have just formulated a better email? Like why couldn't you just have figured that out?
Or
But
when one email contains 17 questions.
yeah, and like I'd rather it's like when you get assigned a math for homework. I'd rather it be one question but 17 parts than 17 questions.
Ooh, this sounds like a divisive conversation question.
I don't know
Yo,
what
I'm
that means.
I don't know if we have enough time to get into the
Yeah,
debate
I
of
don't think we
which is
do.
better yet.
And honestly, in summary, we're all going through moving at some point. And hopefully
Going
it goes
through.
well for you. So, this has been the In Summary UMR podcast. I've been Dallas Lansanese,
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jesse.
and we're gonna catch you next time.
The way you deal with burnout is actually a reduction in expectation. You can't give someone a vacation for burnout, and like that's not, they need to consistently continue to work with lower requirements, and more support. And I think until we can stop burning out entry level professionals, um, retention is just going to be tricky. And especially with the students that we are seeing, at least at my institution, the students that we're seeing now tend to be pretty high need individuals. And so we're getting, more calls that we have to show up to in person, and even more hospital transports because of mental health things. And those kinds of things take a toll. And so I think higher ed now, especially for people who are entry level and dealing with more on call stuff, um, it's got a higher potential for burnout than it ever has, and it was hard before. And so until we can solve that problem, I don't know that we can solve retention issues.
I struggle with this one mostly because I jumped into higher education into a department that had no historical documentation really because the last people who were in that department kind of skedaddled and didn't leave transitions. So we kind of started from scratch
Mm.
I guess the year before I joined in. So historical documentation wasn't super like amazing. You have to dig a lot to find the things that we need to find 80% of the time, although we've pretty much pieced it back together now. But as I started as a professional at the entry level, I'm pretty sure like week two, I got pretty burnt out already
Mm-hmm.
just because there were just issues and I had frustrations with some colleagues and things like that. And then those didn't get really like fixed. And those colleagues are still here. And it's been 3 years off the
Mm-hmm.
record. This is hypothetical in Minecraft. But if I had frustrations in that situation, and those frustrations still continue in 2024 since 2021, then I don't think burnout is even, I don't think anyone's asking if I'm burnt out because they already know at that
Yeah.
point. Um, Unfortunately, when it comes to how do you do retention at that point, there is none after that long.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably just needs to get addressed quickly, from my perspective. If you know that someone's struggling and you just leave it, it's going to get rough. And the longer it takes that person to just leave, the more they're going to resent the entirety of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, as a supervisor, you just need to be on top of it. If you notice that someone's struggling, it sucks. Difficult conversations are awful. They're not fun. They wouldn't be called difficult if that was the case. But just have those conversations as early as possible. But for the people who are burnt out, damn, that sucks, man. It's awful. It sucks, and it's not a great solution from your perspective unless you feel comfortable talking to your supervisor about it, or if you feel comfortable
Sure.
taking the time that you need, or finding someone to help you delegate or mitigate. But from a perspective of a supervisor, it's 100% your fault if you're not addressing it and taking care of it every single time.
Well, and I think too, there needs to be like I'm really lucky to have a really amazing supervisor who has not allowed us to experience as much burnout. I think there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
But like I'm about to finish my second year and I don't feel like I'm burnt out. I'm tired. And there are things that I'd rather not deal with anymore. But there's not the same, like my threshold for how much crisis I can handle or how many hard conversations I can have is about the same as when I started. It hasn't gotten lower. I'm not experiencing like the depression and irritability that can come with burnout yet. And I think a lot of that is thanks to my boss, shout out Dan Chow, that he's flexible with us. Like if I needed a reduction in my responsibilities, if I needed help with delegation and even just some of the like on the job learning, he's been there to provide it. I think too, like a huge part of managing burnout is having work-life balance. And if a department, if a housing department isn't going to provide that, like if the expectation and the culture is just, we work 60 hours a week and that's just how it is, suck it up, you're a part of this now, that's never gonna, that's not sustainable. And so I think and speaking as an entry level professional, I was also really grateful coming into this that I already had learned boundaries the hard way. And I knew what it was to be burnt out. And so I was really protective of what I did when. But I think that can be hard for some people that are just getting into it and haven't had to learn that yet.
I also want to make note of the reason I started off being burnt out was as a grad. First week was going straight into training, then straight into move-in and straight into like training for CAs and everything like that. But the biggest thing was the supervisor I had at the time, who he is no longer here, but he had me help him prepare keys for apartment move-in the night before until 4:30 in the morning. And then from there wasn't enough time for me even to get sleep in between preparing those keys and then being ready at 8 a.m. for apartment move-in. So then we pulled an all-nighter, and that's when I learned my work-life balance pretty rough.
Yeah.
From the get-go, it was, if you ask me to do anything, it better be within my billable hours.
Good. Yeah, because that's a disaster. And that's not the kind of thing that happens in positions that like get more respect. Like you're not going to see that kind of thing exactly in the corporate world, or like I think that's a unique thing to higher ed.
Yeah, and it should be even more unique than that. So unique that you've never heard of it.
Right.
Because there's no situation where people should feel like because they worked longer or harder or more in general, then they are a better professional than you. Because that's not how it is. If you're going to work more than you're supposed to, then you're worse at your boundaries and you're a worse professional than me. And we should normalize that. Take care of yourself because you'll be a better whole person and that'll help you in your job.
Exactly.
Are you guys ready for our final game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to blind ranking these residence life interactions that you might go through or experience. I'm going to give you a residence life interaction or experience you might go through. And you have to blindly rank them as a team, Jesse and Nathan. You have to rank them as a team and see what we get at the end. And I'll keep track of which ones you are ranking where, kind of thing. Remember, you can't change your ranking. So once you put something at like the 3 slot, it stays at the 3 slot. Okay.
Oh.
Yep. You cannot change it. This will be 5.
Okay.
This will be 5.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And
so
one
One is gonna be like, wow, this is the best thing I could ever experience in the job. 5 being, I'd rather not be doing that.
You're back to death.
So I'd rather be gone from my position. And
Okay.
so
Yes.
if you guys are ready, I'll give you the first
Yeah, let's do
topic.
it.
Okay.
And remember, you never know what you're gonna get, so that's
Yeah.
the joy of this game. But the first thing I
Especially
have
coming from
is
you.
the first one is conduct meetings.
Yeah, you go, Nathan.
I think we're a team though, right? Like we come
Yep.
up with one
You
ranking.
guys
Yes,
are
yeah,
one
but I
ranking
want to hear your
together.
thoughts.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so without any other information about the rest of the things that will happen, and being that we only have 5 slots, I think putting it at 3 will then let us gauge the rest of them as better or worse than conduct meetings.
This is a good strategy. I like it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. We have conduct meetings at 3. Okay. The next one is student staff hiring and placement.
Okay. Thoughts, Jesse?
I feel like it's better. I don't know. Some people hate hiring. I really like
A lot
hiring.
of work. A lot of work comes with that too.
It is a lot of work. It's a ton of time, but it's more pleasant, I think, than conduct.
I personally love defined work versus undefined work. So if
Sure,
something's, yeah, I mean, it's a process that we have the step 1 to step 88, then yeah, I mean, I'd say, I think that's a fine number 2.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for it.
Sweet. Okay, we're on the same page.
All right, perfect. We got student staff hiring and placement at 2. The next one is one of your coworkers leaves the position unexpectedly.
Oh gosh. I want to put that at I feel like 5 is going to be like a student death or something. So
I will give you. I am not doing that as one. I did not put that on this.
Okay, so it's just the beginning of the podcast, not the end. Thanks.
I'm afraid to put that at a 5, but that's bad.
Yeah, we actually just had that 2 weeks ago, and it's thrown more than the biggest wrench that I've ever had in my job. Because it was our admin assistant who has so many things that go through that chair that I have never known.
Yep.
It's like, oh, how do I get my per diem? Oh, how do I get the invoices for our camps paid?
Who knows?
Also, all of our camp invoices have our old admin assistant as an approver, so we can't get paid for them.
Pretty good.
Lots of that stuff. So I don't know. I think that's a 5. Like, I know there's probably a worse one because you saved the worst for last, but
or maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Or
Let's put it at 5.
I like 5, even though I'm sure there's going to be something.
All right, put that at 5. Okay, the next one is once you're hired, your supervisor says, "We're a family here."
6.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna have to be 4 because that's all we have left. But
yeah, no. We have that in 1.
That's so scary.
What's the problem? Then the last thing is going to be an awful, awful thing. It's going to be worse than we're a family here.
Maybe.
And then I guess that's what we co-signed, and that's going to be our name on it for the rest of time. And then people are going to be like, well, we should hire Nathan and Jesse because they want to be a family.
They want to be a family.
Yeah, wow.
Dogs,
and
it's going to be number 1, the last one.
So we're putting we're a family at 4 or 1?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be 4. It should be 5.
Okay. And the last one that is wild that we kept 1 till the end, but it's the first welcome week on campus. So all the student activities and all of the fun stuff that happens,
1 every time.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be 1 anyway, but also
it has to be, but yes.
Yeah. To give you a summary of this list that she made that I put on my phone, you have the first week on campus, the welcome week activities is number 1. You put student staff hiring and placement at 2. You put conduct meetings at 3. You put we're a family here at 4, and you put that your coworker leaves unexpectedly at 5, which is a pretty good list.
Actually,
we did pretty well.
Yeah, when you read it out loud, I actually think I would prefer someone saying we're a family here than a coworker randomly leaving almost any time.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I at least can mitigate we're a family, right? I can be like, hey, I just want you to know that,
No.
We're
like,
not. We're
Yeah.
distant
We're not.
cousins, actually, at the
Yeah,
most.
forced blood runs a lot thinner.
Oh gosh.
Ooh. Well, thank you for participating in that. I made one of those topics on the spot when you guys were chatting about the last one. Fun fact about my preparation for this podcast.
Oh,
So, but again, thank you both for your thoughts on everything we talked about today. And to end very abruptly, because I love doing that. In summary, higher education, it's somewhere, and it's going to go somewhere else. So thank you for listening to the UMR podcast. In summary, it's your boy Dallas.
it's your boy Nate.
And your girl Jessie?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will be right back in this same kind of situation next month. So I hope you listen to that one too. All right, you guys have a swell day.